Hello, everyone. My name is Grant Bradley. I am a field manager here with the Digital Summer Clinic, and today I am joined by none other than Bud Gibson himself. He is a professor at Eastern Michigan University and creator of the Center for Digital Engagement at Michigan University Digital Summer Clinic. So I'd like to thank everyone again for joining us today, and if you're watching in the future, welcome. So Bud, I'll kind of get right into it. Quick introduction, tell us about yourself, give us a little history about what you've done that's led you to this point.
Well, I'll try and avoid the temptation of going all the way back to the date of my birth, over 60 years ago, and try and get to something more recent. So I joined Eastern Michigan University in 2006. I had previously been at the University of Michigan and the Ross School. And in coming to Eastern, my goal was really to connect with the community. I liked some of the community-oriented projects I had seen at other institutions, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to do that. I was at Eastern, and we started a partnership with Google Ann Arbor to help teach students Google Ads by having them manage nonprofits' Google Ads accounts. And so we had all of these trained students, but how do we get them employment? Okay, and this was roughly 2008, 2009, the great financial recession. And so we started to do various guerrilla marketing tactics. Time goes by. We have a well-developed search marketing program. We have a conference that goes on each year called the Digital Marketing Workshop, and we're connecting with the community. Well, I thought we really needed to do more because we still had there's not always an obvious path for people to get from our program out into the working world. So as happenstance would have it, I was talking with a friend in the gym, and I said, I'm trying to put together this center, and I want to do something like a clinic in the summer. No idea what that would look like. He came up with some funding from an organization called the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And so we started this clinic in collaboration with the Ann Arbor Spark. Now, the first year we did it, it was purely students from Eastern Michigan University. But by the second year, we actually had some students from other institutions. And in particular, Washtenaw Community College, and strangely enough, the College of Worcester in Ohio. And so we were pulling in basically students who had some Michigan tie. They were either going to school here or they were from here but going to school somewhere else. And in fact, you're one of those kinds of students.
Yes, I am. Here I am.
Down in Indiana, of all places, although your family is from Ann Arbor. And so at any rate, we started that, and we grew it. And we grew it from having 25 applicants in the first year to now typically getting anywhere between 300 and 500 applicants in a year. We have 48 internship positions that we offer. This past summer, we paid $17 an hour to try and keep pace with the demand for tech people. And it's worked out great. We now have that direct link into the business community for graduates from our program, but actually graduates from basically Michigan students, however you want to define that. They're going to school in Michigan, or they're from Michigan going to school somewhere. So we have that link, and we put those people through. We have a growing alumni base. We are now recruiting from that alumni base to come back in and mentor students or interns in our current summer program. And so, that's sort of how it got started and where we are now.
Well, that definitely is a lot of great information. And actually, that kind of answers my second question on just sort of like, what does the CDE do? And just connecting interns with those companies. I know when I was in, I loved it. I think it was a great experience for me, and I'm definitely going to treasure it for the rest of my life. It's a really good opportunity.
Well, we try to be the start. Yeah.
Definitely. I feel that totally from my end. It's just, I feel like everything I've done from now on, and even when I'm in school, just the amount of like, what have you done for summer? What'd you do this summer? It's just like really nice to have a really good experience I can tell with people, just sort of share that knowledge with everyone around me.
Great.
So, what are some of the big plans for this fall that you would like to see the CDE accomplish? Now, I know you did say that we have the digital marketing workshop coming up.
Yes.
Um, but what are some of the other things that we'll be doing this summer, or what would be some things you'd like to see the CDE do in the future?
Well, so thinking about this fall, so we have this big conference that we've been doing since 2011. Okay, so this is year 12 of the conference, and and that again started out small. During the pandemic, we went virtual.
Mhm.
And last year we were virtual again, but so the first year of the pandemic completely virtual. Last year we were virtual again, but we had a luncheon, although there was still sort of a lot of COVID nervousness out there. This year I think we're kind of, and coming out of COVID has been harder than going into COVID. I mean, it's sort of like it's a slow process.
Definitely.
And and so this year we're coming back with a full half-day conference. So what we used to do, it goes from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on November 18th. That's Friday. And if you want to register, we have a $25 ticket that gets you breakfast and lunch, and then the whole shebang in terms of content. And it's at thedigitalmarketingworkshop.com. That's thedigitalmarketingworkshop.com. And so I'm excited to be coming back live. We're also going to do another event a little bit closer in conjunction with the Ann Arbor Spark on October 13th as part of their A2 Tech 360 week-long series of events to showcase innovation in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti. And we're going to have a session titled A Mobile Robot Marketing Guide. And you're actually going to be part of that,
Yes, I
along
am.
with Shadi, your boss who you worked with over the summer. And then we've at Pedestrian of all places, that's just a great name. And then we also have a founder and a pair of interns from Intermodal. Intermode, sorry, not intermodal. Intermodal is actually word, but it's Intermode is what the place is called. So Pedestrian does hospital-based transportation using robots, and then Intermode actually does special purpose robots for venues so they can do things like deliver food and drink. And so, it's an interesting age we live in. And really one of the themes of that session is, well, how do you market a product that nobody has ever heard about? Okay, and so we're gonna hear directly from the horse's mouths, but the founders and then the interns who worked with them. So those are the two things we got coming up this fall.
I'm definitely super excited for both of those. I cannot wait to be on that panel and talk about my experiences because I just love sharing good information to anybody who I come across. So definitely something I'm very excited for.
Well, that's great.
So this brings me to my last question of the day. When looking for future interns for the clinic, what are some of the best qualities that you and your peers look for potential people?
So here's who's doing the selection process. Obviously, I'm involved. We have two types of mentors that work with us in the summer. And these are people who basically help coach the interns as they go through their internships. So we have faculty mentors who tend to have be able to get a good grip on what it is, where students are coming from. And then we have industry mentors. And in many cases, those are former students. They could also be former heads of companies who have joined us, and they do have an intern focus, but then they also have a well, gee, where might the company be coming from? Because that's really the gap you have to bridge in thinking about being successful in an internship. Where is the intern? Where is the company? How do we get the two to a win-win situation? And that's really what we drive for. So when we look for interns, we're looking for people who who have some get up and go. That's really important. Okay. And so the statement of purpose that we have interns fill out, and it's really only a couple of paragraphs. We want to hear a story about how you got up and you started something. And it does not have to be something grandiose. So to give you an example of what we thought of as a couple of great stories, one young woman had started her own candy business, making basically Mexican candies that she sold at gatherings throughout Southeast Michigan. And it was a pretty simple thing. But to do all of that, she had to figure out where she was going to market. She had to figure out her ingredients. She had to figure out what her sales price was so that she would make money on it as she was planning. And so that's a great story. Okay, that's really an entrepreneurial story right there. And we had another student who had worked with her dad on his business with waste bins, and he was renting them. Okay, and she was helping him advertise that and build up his sales. And this was something both of these young women, and I have guy stories too, but I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a diversity there. In terms of type of story, and both of those women tended to discount their story, but those were stories about kind of taking something that was nothing to start, and you figured out how to get something going. That's valuable in any organization. And so telling the story about what you did, and it could be actually working in a club and building your club membership if you're in a club, or it doesn't have to be super duper, but telling us a story like that is great. Work on your resume as best you can. We'll try to ask questions to kind of get inside the resume. To be honest with you, I find resumes often to be the weakest part of the application. And if somebody really knows how to present themselves and then they're probably able to compete and get, we think we have a great internship, but they're probably able to compete and get other internships. And we encourage that. Okay, if you can find something else, you should go do it. We really intend to be that kind of first professional experience for people as they're trying to get their start in the workforce. And it doesn't have to be young people. It can be older people. We had we always have it older interns, and by older I mean beyond the age of 25. What you think of is that young group. We have people in their 30s and their 40s. Okay, but they're basically restarted. So that's that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those stories you can tell.
Definitely just a get up and go thing. Just get up and go and do it, and just put in something that you've done, and we'll see if you can get through.
That's right. And to give you an idea, let's say we have 400 applicants. We'll typically winnow that down to 100 people that we interview. So you go from 400 to 100, okay? But that still means that you've got a 25% chance of getting an interview. And if you get the interview, you've got a 50% chance of getting chosen, okay? Because we take 48 out of those 100. So the numbers are not as bad as they might seem. Don't be intimidated. You should apply.
Definitely. If you're thinking about applying, just do it. I know when I did, I'm so happy I did, because I wouldn't be here today without it. So I'd like to thank Bud personally for that one, but definitely.
Hey, sure thing, Grant.
So that was actually our last question. So before we head out, I'd like to thank everyone again for watching our digital live today. Bud, thank you for being here with us. It was great having you on, talking with us about the clinic and yourself. For everyone else, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Digital Summer Clinic, so you do not miss any of the new updates. And again, to everyone watching, we will be joined by another special guest named Soren Daikichi, if I'm saying that correctly, with
Dragici.
with TV
Yes.
Bio. Our next episode airs next Tuesday, September 20th at 6 p.m., continuing our lives that we will be doing every week. So you will not want to miss them. And again, to everybody watching, thank you, and we will see you here next week. Bye.
Bye.